Welcome back to Gun Fanatics. Every single season, hunters all across the country, from the high peaks of the Rockies down to the thickets in the Carolinas, they all end up asking the same question. What is the perfect hunting caliber? You'll get a dozen different answers. Some guys swear by raw speed, that flat trajectory. Others will tell you it's all about brute force, raw knockdown power. And you've always got the precision crowd insisting that shot placement trumps everything else. But here's the reality. When that moment of truth arrives, when that deer finally steps into a clearing and your finger comes to the trigger, choosing the wrong caliber can mean a lost harvest, or even worse, a wounded animal that's left to suffer. Now, in 2025, there's one cartridge that seems to rise above the noise. It's a round that perfectly blends old-school wisdom with modern ballistic innovation. Today, we are going to find out which caliber truly earns the title of America's #1 hunting cartridge. This isn't about theory. It's not about nostalgia or what your granddaddy used. This is about measured, proven performance. Here on Gun Fanatics, we don't just regurgitate marketing hype. We test the metal, we test the powder, and we find the truth. In this breakdown, we are comparing 6 of the most popular hunting calibers in the United States. We're pushing them through a gauntlet of real-world tests. We're talking brush country, dense woodland, open plains, and big game territory. We are tracking their performance in penetration, expansion, energy transfer, and recoil. We're going to find out which one truly deserves a place in your rifle this season. So load up, check your zero, and get comfortable. Because what we discovered, it just might change how you approach your next hunt. Before we get to the results, we have to talk physics. Ballistics is a lot more than just some chart you find online or a fancy number printed on a box of ammo. It is the hard science behind why a bullet flies flat, why it hits hard, and whether it delivers a clean, ethical stop. Velocity. That's what determines your reach and your trajectory. How much holdover you need. Energy, that's the raw impact. It's what gets delivered when that bullet lands on target. Sectional density. That's the measure that tells us how deeply a bullet is designed to penetrate. And expansion, that's what controls the width of the permanent wound channel. Look, the perfect hunting caliber isn't just the fastest, and it's not just the biggest. It's the one that brings all 4 of those elements into harmony. Now, to keep this comparison fair and grounded in reality, we divided our testing into 4 realistic hunting zones. First, brush country. This is thick timber short-range encounters. We're talking shots that rarely go past 100 yards, where every single branch is a threat that can deflect a round. Second, woodland. This is the heart of North American deer hunting. Ranges here stretch out to about 250 yards. Third, the open plains. This is wide, windy country. Distances start at 300 yards and go up. This demands precision and, critically, retained energy. And finally, big game country. This is elk, bear, and moose territory. This is where sheer raw power and deep penetration are what decide if you're packing out a trophy or just packing out a story about the one that got away. All right, let's meet the contenders. First up, the 30-30 Winchester. This is the Brush King. This cartridge is over a century old, and it is still revered for its close-range stopping power in a lever action. Yeah, it's slow, and it's heavy, but inside 100 yards, it hits like a freight train. The downside? It's got a trajectory like a rainbow. The energy drop-off is severe, making it a very poor choice for longer shots. Next, the 308 Winchester. This is the all-around workhorse. It's accurate. Ammo is everywhere. And it's comfortable to shoot. It's trusted by hunters and military snipers alike. It is truly one of the most balanced cartridges ever designed. Its limitation? It can lose energy faster than some of the Magnum rounds, once you really start to stretch the distance. Then we have the 270 Winchester. This is the flat-shooting favorite. Jack O'Connor's darling. It flies fast, it stays level, and it delivers incredible precision across open terrain. It is absolutely deadly on mule deer and antelope. But some folks argue it just lacks the punch needed for the really big animals. Now we move up in power to the 300 Winchester Magnum. This is the powerhouse of the group. It has brutal recoil. The ammo is expensive, but it has undeniable authority at long range. This is the round that dominates mountain hunts, but it absolutely punishes any shooter who can't handle that kick. Following that is the 7mm Remington Magnum. This one is sleek, it's balanced, It offers near magnum energy but with a flatter trajectory and noticeably softer recoil than the 300 Win Mag. It is a favorite of professional guides who value long-range reach and pinpoint accuracy. And finally, the veteran that simply refuses to die. The 30-06 Springfield. This round was born on the battlefield and it was perfected in the wild. This is the cartridge that has fed more American families than any other in history. Period. It's not flashy, it's not new, but it works. Every single time. When we put these rounds head-to-head, the results were illuminating. In the brush zone, the 30-30 held its ground exactly as we expected. It's slow but in thick cover, that's actually its strength. That heavy, round-nosed bullet doesn't deflect easily. Its moderate speed means it dumps its energy very fast on impact. Inside 100 yards, the 30-30 still delivers devastating terminal damage. But the moment you try to stretch it past that, the energy just falls off a cliff, and the accuracy fades fast. Moving into the woodland test, the 308 came alive. It has easy recoil tack-driving consistency and a versatility across all rifle types that made it shine. It punched clean through our simulated rib bone and ballistic gel. It expanded reliably, every single time, without over-penetrating and wasting energy. That perfect balance of control and power makes the 308 ideal for deer, hogs, and black bear. Out on the plains, the 270 and the 7mm Remington Magnum ruled the field. The 270's raw velocity gave it a clear edge in flat flight paths and bucking the wind. Meanwhile, the 7mm offered deeper penetration and carried more energy at those long ranges. Both of them hit hard well over 300 yards, with the 7mm clearly dominating once we pushed beyond 400. When we stepped into big game country, however, the story changed. The 300 Winchester Magnum, it thundered with authority. It blew through ballistic gel, heavy bone simulants, and even layered barriers we set up to mimic thick hide and light brush. Its penetration was simply unmatched. But that recoil, it was brutal. It was absolutely severe enough to make a fast follow-up shot extremely difficult. And let's be honest, not every hunter can or wants to handle that level of punishment. And then came the 30-06. Shot after shot, it delivered rock-solid, consistent performance, across every zone. It had enough speed to handle the distance. It had enough power to drop an elk. And yet, it has mild enough recoil that you can actually train with it comfortably. The 30-06 didn't dominate any single test. It didn't win in any one category. Instead, it scored near the top in all of them. And that consistency, that is what sets it apart. In our field trials, we ran 2 side-by-side tests. First, at 75 yards in dense cover. We put the 30-30 and the 308 head-to-head. The 30-30 hit with authority, but it stopped short. The 308 passed clean through the simulated ribcage, expanding perfectly. Second, at 340 yards across an open plain. We put the 270 and the 30-06 head-to-head. The 270 reached the target faster, but its bullet expanded a little too quickly and shed a lot of mass. The 30-06 hit slightly slower, but it maintained its weight. It mushroomed evenly, and it exited cleanly. It was a textbook, ethical kill shot. Now, let's talk about real-world practicality. Because this matters. Ammunition cost matters. The 30-06 sits comfortably right in the middle. It is affordable. It is widely available. And it is offered in every major hunting bullet type imaginable. You can walk into any store, in any state in the country, and find a box. The Magnums? You're looking at twice the price. Minimum, they're harder to find, and they are infinitely more punishing on your shoulder. And recoil absolutely matters. A cartridge that you are afraid to shoot is a cartridge you will not practice with. And I will tell you this, accuracy always beats horsepower when the target is alive. When we reviewed all the data, one round stood completely alone as the undisputed, all-around choice for the American hunter. The 30-06 Springfield. It's the quiet, consistent veteran. It has outlasted trends, it has outlasted wars, and it has outlasted decades of marketing gimmicks. At the muzzle, it's producing around 2,700 to 3,000 foot-pounds of energy. That is more than enough for any North American game animal. At 300 yards, it still carries more power than some other calibers have at point-blank range. Its versatility is simply unmatched. It can handle bullet weights from 125 all the way up to 220 grains. You can load light for varmints or go heavy for moose and bear. It is the one rifle you can take anywhere in any season and know that it will perform. For deer and medium game, A 150 grain soft point offers fast expansion and minimal recoil. For elk or big game, a 180 grain bonded bullet gives you deep, reliable penetration and controlled expansion. And for dangerous game, those 200 grain and up options are devastatingly effective. It is simple, it is reliable, and it is proven. But let's be honest here, there is no such thing as one single perfect caliber. If your hunts are exclusively under 100 yards in thick, nasty brush, the 30-30 in a lever gun is still unbeatable for speed and control. If you only hunt long range in the high Rockies, that 7mm Remington Magnum or the 300 Winchester Magnum will serve you better with their flat trajectories. But for the vast majority of American hunters, the 30-06 is the rifle that just works. Every time. Everywhere. Beyond the numbers, the 30-06 carries a legacy that defines American hunting. It was born in service, forged in war, and perfected in the field. It has filled more freezers, and it has hung more antlers on walls than any cartridge before or since. Hunters pass these rifles down through generations, not because they're trendy, but because they work. The 30-06 doesn't just shoot, it delivers confidence. So, if you are setting up your rifle for the 2025 season, here is what you need to know. Pair that 30-06 with a 22 to 24-inch barrel. That's the sweet spot for a good velocity balance. Zero it at 200 yards. With that zero, you'll be able to hit point blank out to nearly 250 yards without ever having to adjust your hold. Use quality optics. A good 3 to 9 power scope is perfect for general use. Maybe step up to a 4 to 16 power if you're really planning on pushing those long distances. And practice with the exact same loads you plan to hunt with. Your trigger control, your breathing, your recoil timing, all of it must become instinct. And above all else, remember that ethics matter more than energy. The best caliber is the one you can shoot accurately and confidently. Always, always aim for a clean, humane kill. Do not take the shot unless you know it's yours to make. Respect the animal, respect the hunt, and respect the tool that gets the job done. Now it's your turn. What caliber do you trust the most when you head into the field? Did you trade an old favorite for one of the new modern hot rods? Or are you still carrying your grandfather's 30-06 into the woods? Drop your thoughts and your hunting setups in the comments below. We read all of them. The 30-06 Springfield stands tall not because it's flashy and not because it's new. It stands tall because it has earned the trust of hunters across multiple generations. It is reliable, versatile, and undeniably American. If you found this breakdown useful, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and be sure to comment with what you want us to test next. This is Gun Fanatics, where we test the facts, not the marketing hype. Stay sharp, shoot straight, and we will see you in the next breakdown.